so sick of this justice system. It's so unfair. The only thing justice requires is that you treat everyone equally. When will anyone see that?
What do you mean when you say the justice system isn't just? As in court rulings, or like just people's general understanding of justice?
I don't know, both. I mean, everything kind of sucks right now.
It's a little bit of a nihilistic outlook on things.
What did he say?
Yeah, we were having a discussion on justice. Who are you?
Oh yes, justice is a very multifaceted concept and it's hard to define. Fortunately, I'm here, so you guys don't need to worry about that.
Okay, well, what do you think justice is?
What was your friend who was saying? Oh yeah, that justice is to treat everyone equally. I thought that was an interesting definition because justice is all about people getting what they deserve. It made me wonder how that aligns with the idea that all of humanity deserves a single fate for our transgressions.
Wait, you're saying all of humanity deserves a single fate? What about people who have committed heinous crimes as opposed to an innocent child? Do they deserve the same fate?
I wouldn't think so. What I meant earlier is that we should treat everyone equally, not that we all deserve the same fate. But come to think of it, it wouldn't make much sense to treat a criminal the same way you would treat an upstanding citizen.
That's what I'm thinking. It just doesn't align logically. Now, I'm not sure about it morally, but I would think justice would just be everyone deserving, or everyone getting what they deserve on an individual level.
Exactly. And what does humanity deserve? Death.
Yeah, sure. Wait, what was it you were saying humanity deserves?
Death.
Well, as was clarified, it's certainly more of a case-to-case thing, so a flat answer wouldn't make sense. How would you measure that anyway? Maybe there's an ultimate standard you can measure things to?
But how does that make, who would determine that standard? That seems like it would always be biased, because no matter who decides that standard, there would always be some innate flaw due to the flawed nature of the individual. This is why we have so many problems arising from things in our philosophy, our life justice system, our government, and so many other methods that we currently utilize as a society. This is why I think humanity needs a reboot. We're beyond repair.
Well, that's taking it a bit far. But I do agree with you. You can't have one overruling human making that standard. I mean, looking at history, we can see pretty much every monarchy has failed.
So would that mean that there's a natural standard, not one that we decide, but one that is innate in and of itself that cannot be changed?
What would that be then? An all-knowing rock?
I think it means something more like an undeniable moral compass. Humans have an innate sense of right and wrong that's in them intuitively. It's hard to define more than, well, it just kind of is something that we know.
But how does that make any sense at all? Right? Humans as creatures are entirely morally subjective. Right, wrong, black and white are different for everybody. You can't say that justice is something that we just know, because no, we don't. That's why it even has to be defined. I say that things will never be the same starting place again. Not unless we redo humanity entirely by nuking them. Of course.
I see your point, except for the nuking part. But I think that's why we believe it's not something for humans to decide, it's something outside of us.
Like what? God?
Well, if you care to take all sides of it, then yeah, God would be an answer.
Fine. Let's hear it.
Well, you were saying before that human nature is entirely subjective, and I agree with you. So we have to get uncontested answers, unbiased justice, we have to have some sort of objective ruler, objective standard.
And the only things that are objective are outside of us, or maybe rather humans see all things as subjective, including ourselves.
I think one of the reasons so many people turn to God, religion, natural law, etc., is because it provides an unbiased source for truth and for justice without the innate bias of humanity. Without the innate bias of humanity. I think then justice would be defined as I said earlier, everyone getting what they deserve, but under the laws of God, or whatever religion or ethical code you decide that standard is.
Doesn't the Christian God always bring some sort of theme of grace and justice, which I feel kind of contradicts what justice is? Wouldn't that just make justice vengeance?
No, vengeance is generally pretty personal, as opposed to justice, which is impersonal and impartial, providing mercy when it's acceptable and punishment when not. As for vengeance hinges entirely on your own subjective views of what justice is, which, as we said earlier, are flawed. As for grace, the idea of grace and justice kind of is better demonstrated by the idea of equity, which is kind of like justice, but also regarding repentance and the inherent value of human life as well.
Everyone, shut up! You're saying God has an ultimate moral standard for humanity, right?
Well, yeah.
And doesn't he say somewhere in the Bible that like we're all sinners bonded with death because of our nature?
Sort of.
Oh my gosh, guys, this solves everything. Okay, listen. The way we can save humanity from our transgressions is we kill all of us. We need to nuke everybody. Oh my gosh, boom! Then we can arise again as a nation built on communism and true justice. Oh my gosh, heck yeah, thanks!
I don't think that's how that works.
I think I have to side with her. The logic is clear. Sorry, Lou.
No. The reason bombing of Manhattan was you? No, please, wait.